What does it take for us to process the negative feelings and acknowledge them, but not be controlled by them? There are some days when discouragement hits just a little too hard. And things not going my way or your way, it doesn't always have to do with whether or not we did the right things. We do our best to do the right things, but doing the right things doesn't guarantee results. We gotta deal, we gotta cope, and we gotta try again. I already made my right decisions this morning, and things did not go the way I hoped they would. And so I'm not gonna bother making right decisions right now, because this space on this page, you don't need right decisions. There are no right and wrong decisions. I mean, I'm sure there's ugly and pretty decisions that I could make, but I don't need to drive just so, park just so, walk just so, talk just so. I can just make little mushy squares. Maybe it's a little window. And when we look into this window, what do we want to see? How do we feel better when we feel disappointed? When we worry that our efforts, our checklists dutifully ticked off, when all of these things line up and they still lead to definitely not what we were hoping for. What do we do? It is ironic to me how often I avoid solutions. I avoid things that will help me feel better because I know feeling better takes effort, and I don't want to put in effort all the time. It's kind of like when I have a headache and I know if I do a bit of yoga and loosen up the muscles, my headache will most likely go away, but I avoid putting in the effort because I'm hurting and I don't want to do yoga, even though I know I should. By sitting down with art today, I am reminding myself to do that healthy thing because I know I will feel better. Working with feelings takes energy, it takes effort, it takes care and intentionality, and I've already had my wallowing time. It's time for me to look up again. One of the most hopeful and refreshing sights for me is stepping outside and looking at the sky. I see sunshine, I hear birds. The more of that I can get, the better, honestly. So what's something that refreshes you? I look out this window and I see blue sky, leaves bouncing on the trees as the breeze blows through. So if I want to feel encouraged, if I want fresh courage, I need to, at the very least, look up and look out. Some of my favorite soul refreshing things are just outside that window. I can locate a bit of sunshine. I love seeing how light becomes dappled as it goes through trees and gets caught in the leaves. I love a good hug from my husband. He's the one who comes home last in the evening, so we all know when he opens the door. We're always so excited to see him. I plan on getting a really nice hug. And the more space and the more breath and the more freshness I feel around me, the more I remember that the efforts that I put in are not the last efforts I'm going to put in. I can try again tomorrow. Being set back once doesn't mean being set back for good. I think that's a good sentiment to sit with for a bit. I forced myself to sit down and do art because I felt like I would keep moping if I didn't. It's good to acknowledge our feelings, process our feelings, value our feelings, but just sitting in them when we could be growing, when we could be processing, when we could be seeking genuine rest instead of pent up, disrupted, disgruntled rest. Tomorrow we'll be back, or maybe even this afternoon. We'll be back to putting in our efforts. We'll be back to doing things right just the way we know we need to. It's amazing how simple it is to feel better. Goodness is there, joy is there, happiness is there, refreshed energy, refreshed spirit, it's all there. Truth is there, kindness is there, love is there. If we close our eyes and don't want to see it, well, we're definitely not going to find it. It takes a little bravery to trust that it's there, to trust that we can feel better even when things haven't gone the way that we hope. You don't have to share this in the comments if you don't want to, but what's something that you feel is disappointing that you might not be able to get over? You feel like you'll be disappointed over this for the whole day, for the whole week. I know some of us have disappointments that haunt us even beyond that. What does it take for us to process the negative feelings and acknowledge them, but not be controlled by them? What does that take? It's definitely a question worth asking, I think. It's amazing what a little art can do to help us feel better about pretty much anything. Each time we face a new discouragement, each time we struggle, we have to remind ourselves of the process. Remind ourselves that the process is worth struggling through. I hope I've said helpful things. I know I have helped myself a lot. I always hope that whatever I process through can be of help for people who need to process through the same things. So my day is looking up. I hope yours is too.